You have been playing Minecraft wrong. And boringly so. Forever stuck in a 2-week Minecraft phase. Evolving, progressing, and never growing. Because getting better means getting bored. And yet, we can't help but feel the pressure to climb up an ever-rising skill ceiling and refine ourselves. Call it a refinement culture. But I think I found what might just be the cure. Something after the story's end. But it's not what you may be expecting. But with every end, there must be a start. Now, about that 2-week Minecraft phase. I had that phase too. It was fun. I set up a villager trade hall and I maxed it out. I got stacked with netherite. I fought the ender dragon. I got the elytra, and I ended up with a strange sense of hollowness. And I felt this on an SMP I played on before, with my good friend Lux. We based in a tundra for a trading hall. We all rushed the end portal as a netherite-clad team. Lux killed the ender dragon with her salmon gemmy, and we flew into the sunset with elytra. And after we all left, right? Well, turns out those were 4 separate servers, all of which had a similar course of events, and the same conclusion: us leaving. This is a fucking catalyst of the angsty SMP you're probably subscribed to me for. In none of these worlds had we rage quit after avoid death or similar frustration. In fact, we were impervious, the greatest of all mine. LeBlanc James! We had spare elytra, choker boxes of diamond gear, with netherite collecting dust in their corners. Ancient debris was not a thing for ender chests, but loose garbage alongside spare efficiency 5 books and damaged tridents. We were veritably gods, reaching the peak of our terrible power. We prayed for days like this. We could only go up, right? It all seems logical. We want to beat the game and get to the fun stuff, the big boss fight, as soon as possible. So when we play Minecraft, we'll rush to the nearest structure for loot. Mine stone and then throw out our wooden pickaxes after 3 uses, get iron and throw out our stone pickaxes after 8. And take any shortcut to get a full set of netherite armor on ourselves. And a dragon's egg in our trophy area, with perhaps a detour for the weather. And we will rinse and repeat this cycle. Ad infinitum. To infinity. But there's a problem with this. It's a formula. The same thing, over and over again. 2 weeks at a time. Long enough to become an odd chapter in our memory, but never long enough to make something substantial that we can care for. And worse, each time we run through the game with this cycle, we will remember the techniques we learned and become increasingly better at this draconian progression. We improve at the game, but to the detriment of ourselves. And everything will breeze by, faster and faster because of it. Our phases become even shorter. And we will feel even more burnt out after it. You can see this trend of improvement on a large scale through the history of record speedruns. With each year passing by, a new record emerges that beats the game in an increasingly short amount of time. This is an example of refinement culture. To my knowledge, it originates from the Lindy newsletter by Paul Scalas, but I first stumbled on this concept by the YouTuber ArtChad and his video about the existential horror of burrito debt, and I think it stands particularly true here. In his explanation, it entails a video game being increasingly understood and exploited over time. In this case, people learning how to utilize weird warping exploits to finish The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time at increasing speeds. This is because people have been able to collectively build up and gather knowledge and experience. And here, the strategies that can help you reach the end quicker are the paths of least resistance. Over time, newer paths of least resistance will be discovered, as more knowledge and experience is built within the speedrunning community of Ocarina. And as such, we see the phenomenon of the completion times getting shorter. Yet ArtChad points out that, in doing so and gaming the system of the game, the various plotlines and quests of Ocarina are skimmed over, simply ignored in the pursuit of reaching the ending screen. Does that sound familiar? Minecraft's progression system centered around killing the ender dragon alongside getting powerful gear, which I will call Draconian progression throughout this video, has been in the game since around 2011 with 1.0.0's drop of enchanted armor and the ender dragon. Well, yes, literal world-changing events both IRL and in-game have happened. The same pattern of starting in the overworld, going to the nether, and finishing up progression in the end has remained broadly the same. Continuously, we have discovered more and more elements of this process. We follow paths of least resistance, getting better at the game, and veteranizing ourselves. We found out bed bombing instead of swords. We found the secrets to end portal triangulation, and we didn't even need diamonds to make another portal. But players have become gods. We as expert players have become the most knowledgeable we have ever been. And now, we are suffering from its consequences. And unlike Ocarina, Minecraft continuously receives updates, adding features designed around more casual players, whose most fast-paced video game experience has been like Animal Crossing interior design. Remember, this is the highest selling game of all time. There's a concept explored in that video, known as friction. In short, it's the idea of there being resistance in the pursuit of a goal, intentional or otherwise. This concept exists in game design too. In older versions of the game, heavily focused around survival, there was a great deal of intentional friction in trying to acquire quality diamond armor and gear, but in turn, a great deal of accidental friction for those wanting to build as well. After all, it's a hell of a lot harder to get the blocks to build a megastructure when your tools are like 33% slower, you know? And every time you're needing to tear down a part of the build you're wanting to reshape, if you only have iron, then you'll be a lot slower than someone with diamond. But now, this is way easier. You can, before the end of the first day, dive into the ocean for diamonds from a shipwreck. Before the end of the first week, you can probably end up with a full set of diamond armor from an armor smith. None of this existed before 2018. And I don't think this is necessarily bad. Cause like, come on, like, when was the last time we took showers? Like, genuinely, holy shit. Minecraft is a sandbox game, where a player can follow a loosely set progression to express creativity, with survival simply adding the challenge of making way for what you want to make. Whether it be taking down the wither to make your terraforming quicker, fighting cave spiders to collect redstone, to like, I don't know, make some doohickeys or something, or getting, fortifying, and then maxing out a village for easy build supplies. By making elements of this progression more open to players who want to mess around with the sandbox of survival, you can have a lot more players going further down the tech tree, even if they're not necessarily interested in progression. If let's say you wanted some diamonds to make shaping builds quicker, whilst also having to manage an IRL job, rather than spending god who knows how long strip mining in the dark with your face a centimeter away from the screen, you could literally just jump into the ocean. In this sense, a newer path of least resistance is opened. And that's the thing. A veteran player, like me, who's used to cutting their teeth in older, less open editions of the game, is often prone to taking the path of least resistance. And suddenly, when the lower friction path for casual players opens, we're understandably taken in. We fix those ruined portals rather than enjoying some spelunking, you know? Why do we not want to contend with some mining for extra diamonds to make a pick? Because it's faster. And more certain the other way. And even worse, we're still gonna learn, refine, and optimize these lower friction features, further reducing the need for effort on our end. We'll go to the wiki for tutorials, and dissect everything about this game, leaving no mythos, no mystery, no hero bride. It's trial without error, essentially. So here we are, bored gods with nothing to do. How do we solve this? Surely we could, like, raise the game's difficulty with advancements, right? We could make, like, zombies wear armor. Make charged creepers a thing that spawn naturally. Fuck it, I don't know. Pregnant spiders that drop creepy little babies on you? Skeletons have guts? And they can spawn all over the world after you, like, get iron or something. It's remarkably similar to Terraria's own progression system. But there's a problem. Not everyone plays like this. Some people want to advance the game, not because of Draconian progression, but because they want to do something else. They want a beacon because they can terraform quicker, netherite to make mob attacks during builds less annoying, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily because getting their terraforms ruined and falling to their death is a part of their plan. It's perhaps why the end update is so enticing to us. It's something that can lead us to be challenged post-Ender Dragon. That's gotta be hard, right? But I have a suspicion that this too will fall under the refinement. That with each run of some challenge in the end, it will get quicker to complete. And I had the perfect test subject. They've been a real inspiration for me and Lux in terms of their game design, and I'm pretty excited to be probably the first person to show them off like this on video. They are the Eatles of the Energetic expansion. They're a work in progress feature, so they aren't widely available to the public, since in their current state they're kind of a rough cut. But they're still tough enemies regardless. I have many memories of me, Lux, and Silver fighting and getting our asses kicked by these guys in the summer. Our armor afterward usually looking like something made by Rick Owens. Collectively, they're led by the Brood Eatle, a tanky super boss that can fold through players in diamond armor and give those a netherite trouble too. She'll summon swarms of her horrible little Eatle babies, starting as eggs, hatching as larvae, and metamorphosing into whole individual bugs. Individually, if I could reckon, they're a little tougher than a Vindicator, And while not hitting as hard, they're much better in terms of coordination. Their grounded soldiers can knock you out of a protected position, and on top of that, they can even launch each other. They're not the only unit either, as they can work alongside aerial gliders capable of picking the player up and literally chewing them out, and then dropping them, if not to their deaths, then into a crowd of chargers who will be. And the worst part is, they can revive and then multiply. They're among the game's toughest. And while we players may not have the numbers, the acrobatics, or even the brawn, we have the ability to hone, practice, and then refine our tactics. Each time I destroyed a new Eagle nest, it became easier. And at first, this was because, well, I learned what the right equipment was for the job. In this case, Bane of Arthropods, since, after all, Eagles really are just giant, hellish ender ants. But then I learned the right techniques. You can wash out swarms with water buckets, crush larvae before they grow, and break egg blocks before they hatch. And over time, this dungeon, which was, the first time a veritable nightmare, became just another chore, no different than the bastions or woodland mansions. It sucked, actually. I used to fight these guys for fun back in 2021 with friends because it was so challenging. But after I learned how to defeat it so quick, the majesty of the brood eel was lost. The memories are just kinda different now. It was just another mob. Nothing special about it. There's nothing wrong about pursuing refinement, in my eyes. I mean, looking back at the speedrunning community of the game, they literally are all about that. But I think we've lost something very important to us along the way. You're probably like me, a regular Minecraft enthusiast who works a job, has to probably deal with school or training, and therefore can't devote all the time on Earth they have to Minecraft. I'm a pre-med student, and I find myself pretty squeezed for time. I have to work on videos, yes, and projects that I've been dropping hints about throughout this one, but it's not the usual. But what we often do is consume content about our beloved game, seeing what the genuine professionals can do in their time, and we're inspired by them, but also given this strange sense of shame. Our society says something like, surely if you can play Minecraft, you can just hustle your way up into being better, going pro, even. I think anyone with a hobby related to creating something can relate to this. It measures how valuable we are based off of what we can make and at what amount in rarity. And so we feel a pressure to grind and climb towards the skill ceiling raised by the professionals, chasing refinement not for its own means, but because it can provide us an end that can satisfy us. Maybe it's bringing the dragon's egg to the overworld. Maybe it's the hope of making it in the real world. When we play a sandbox game like this, we're gonna lose out on the joy and whimsy of it. No mythos, no mystery, no Herobrine. When we were all younger and the world was a little smaller, we lived lives unburdened by that pressure to make and be productive. And it reflected in how we played. We made dumb side projects that probably served no practical purpose. For me, I had this old 1.8 world, where I started off not by trying to get good tools, but by making that silly little house that was in the Blue Builder's Handbook. Original version too, by the way. I later built this ridiculous tower out of wool and glass, and that was a modern building for me. I never saw the Ender Dragon in that world, but I did see my own fun land. Made by me. For me. I couldn't tell you what optimization was back then. There have been so many calls to try and bend the whole game around that though, and make it for that. But in turn, we will do nothing but get better, and then bored of its reward at the end we seek. And behind us will be all other kinds of players we've left because of it, including the kids who are like us right now. It's easy, comfortable, really, to follow these routines of optimizing. But in breaking them and leaving comfort zones, we can really enjoy the game some more. Because I think to really enjoy something, you don't need to be the best. You just need to like it for it to be genuine. I sing to myself in the morning and before bed as I prepare for the day and night. I like to tinker with linguistic world building, even though I have no linguistic training. And whenever I can, I write a story with all my little characters in it, you know? And I'm not the best at it, but I do have fun along the way. And I want to have the time I have away from work to find some joy that can last, regardless of how much of it I produce. I work at the hospital, and I think there's no other thing that can truly ground your sense of mortality than the fragility of life. Our time really is limited, so spend it, make something, and it in turn will make you happy, like a thank you gift for its own creation. So for you, my curating viewer, I don't need you to give up on like everything approaching Draconian progression. But I do want you to consider alternatives. Why? Because it's fun. Like, I don't know, make your usual Elytra path into a proper course with like rings and stuff to fly through. Or make a new world to explore all the features added in it. But without stacking yourself with gear. Like, I remember on a summer co-op server I played with Lex and Silver, we had this little operation of moving a chest monster, and rather than just getting some shulker boxes for storage, we packed our stuff in this silly little chest and furnace minecart setup, and then pushed them away into our new base, by hand. Now with powered rails, by hand, pushing it. Like a TF2 card, you know? We obsessively collected first edition music discs with no verification. We made mini-games for God's sake, and we outlasted any Draconian-focused SMP, and enjoyed it along the way. I joined the server on September 11th because I think it was a weekend and I wanted to make a beekeeping spawn. And the first word Luck said was, happy. Maybe it's because we were all collectively drawn in by the allure of speedrunning and optimizing our Minecraft gameplay in that strange time in 2020. Ever since the world changed so much out of our own control, I think a lot of us have found life going by increasingly fast. So we try to make everything, ourselves included, keep pace. But I feel like if we took a step back, to slow down, to not be constantly prodded by the sense of progress or productivity, to enjoy things, I think we could really make something beautiful. In Minecraft, of course. Or maybe real life too. Hey all, it's me, Diansu. I decided since I saw Rad do some kind of thing like this at the end of his latest video that I might as well do something like my own and stuff. I've been busy with college, I've been busy being a pre-med student and stuff, so I haven't had as much time to work on the videos on my channel as much as I'd want to. But what I can tell you is that I have been busy. Not just on school, but also with some other projects of mine and stuff. One of them I've been hinting to throughout this video. And what you're seeing right here is not it. This is something. But yeah, there are little hints hidden throughout it. So yeah, happy hunting.